Can simply repeating positive phrases actually change your brain? For years, people have sworn by affirmations, but hype and science often get tangled. In this video, we'll unpack the neuroscience behind affirmations, separating myth from mechanism and exploring when they help, when they don't, and how to make them work. Ready to find out? Positive affirmations are short, deliberate phrases we repeat to reinforce desired beliefs about ourselves, like, "I can learn this," or "I deserve kindness." Psychologically, they draw from self-affirmation theory, which suggests reminding ourselves of core values protects our sense of worth when threatened. Neurologically, this protection recruits regions involved in valuation and self-processing, helping stressful information feel less personally dangerous. The big idea isn't magical thinking, it's reframing. By shifting appraisal, affirmations can reduce defensive reactions, open cognitive flexibility, and prepare the brain to encode feedback more constructively, especially when paired with meaningful goals, values, and context. When people affirm values, imaging studies often show increased activity in the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, a hub for computing, personal relevance, and reward. That region talks with the striatum and posterior cingulate, integrating value signals with self-referential processing. Practically, this can feel like warmth or possibility after saying a supportive phrase. Biologically, it means the brain tilts toward approach, not avoidance. By nudging valuation networks, affirmations may strengthen attention to opportunities aligned with your identity while quieting alarm responses. This doesn't overwrite reality. It tunes salience so cues stand out, making action plans easier to initiate today. Stress narrows our thinking and primes the body's threat systems, including the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis that drives cortisol. Affirmations can act as a microdose of cognitive reappraisal, widening the lens. By asserting a valued identity, you reduce the perceived cost of threats, dampening defensive bias, and making criticism feel less catastrophic. Physiologically, that shift can translate to lower arousal and faster recovery after challenge. Importantly, the phrase isn't magic, the meaning is. A sentence tethered to authentic values recruits regulation networks more reliably than generic slogans, building resilience over time through small, repeated, emotionally sincere moments each day. Can repeating phrases change the brain? Through neuroplasticity, yes. If repetition is paired with attention, emotion, and behavior. Neurons that fire together wire together, but only when the brain registers importance. Affirmations that create manageable prediction errors. I'm becoming a consistent learner while practicing. Invite gradual updating. Statements that are wildly unbelievable trigger rejection signals and stronger error, undermining learning. The sweet spot is credible, future-focused, and supported by action. Over time, consistent pairing of words and experience reshapes associative networks, making helpful interpretations easier to access and self-sabotaging narratives harder to retrieve in stressful moments under pressure. Context matters. The brain encodes memories with their surroundings, so affirmations work best when linked to stable cues, morning light, a daily walk, or starting a task. Habit stacking leverages existing routines to reduce friction and increase consistency. Short, vivid, first-person present or progressive phrasing recruits sensoromotor imagery and emotion, enhancing consolidation. Pairing statements with diaphragmatic breathing or a brief body scan lowers arousal, improving receptivity. Think minimum effective dose, 1 to 3 focused lines, repeated slowly, paired with tiny actions. Quality beats quantity. Boredom signals autopilot, which weakens plasticity. Novelty, specificity, and sincerity keep circuits adapting over time. Are affirmations just hype? Reality is nuanced. They're not mind control, and they can backfire for people with very low self-esteem if phrasing feels false. In those cases, more neutral, process-oriented statements, "I'm learning strategies that help," often land better. Affirmations also work poorly when detached from behavior. The brain privileges evidence. Pair words with tiny proofs. Send one email, take one step. Finally, affirmations aren't a cure-all. They complement therapy, sleep, exercise, and social support. Think of them as primers for adaptive attention, making it easier to notice options, regulate emotions, and follow through intentionally each day. Can simply repeating positive phrases actually change your brain? Under the right conditions, yes. Because language shapes attention, attention shapes learning, and learning reshapes networks. Affirmations engage the brain's narrative machinery, especially default mode regions that construct our sense of self. By updating that story with values-congruent statements, you bias predictions about what's possible next. Those predictions influence perception and action in micro ways that accumulate. Combined with small wins, predictions become evidence, and evidence becomes identity. The cycle is slow but real. Words guide focus, focus guides behavior, behavior guides wiring, and wiring guides tomorrow's expectations in your favor. Are positive affirmations just new age hype? Not exactly, but they're not a panacea. Evidence suggests self-affirmation can reduce defensiveness, improve receptivity to health messages, and increase goal-consistent choices, especially when threats are salient. Neuroimaging often finds greater ventromedial prefrontal engagement and reward circuitry responses during value reflection, predicting later behavior change, but effects vary with context, wording, and baseline mood. Overpromised claims, instant success, effortless abundance misrepresent the mechanism. The science supports modest, cumulative benefits that emerge when statements are believable, emotionally engaging, and paired with concrete actions that supply proof. Think amplifier, not miracle, used with consistency daily. How should you craft them? Make statements credible, specific, and value-linked. I keep promises to myself by starting with 5 minutes. Use present or progressive tense to recruit embodied imagery but allow future orientation when bridging. I'm learning to speak confidently. Emphasize process over fixed traits to encourage growth. Tie each line to an if-then plan. If it's 7 a.m., then I write one paragraph. Layer gratitude or compassion to reduce inner resistance. Keep language concrete, sensory, and observable so the brain can verify success and reinforce it. Repeat slowly, breathe, and visualize small wins each time. Pair words with behaviors that generate immediate, trackable feedback. Tiny successes release dopamine, strengthening the association between the statement and the action's reward. Over repetitions, the phrase itself becomes a cue that primes the routine and anticipated payoff. This is habit learning. Cue, routine, reward, updated prediction. Keep the loop tight, same time, same place, to reduce decision fatigue. Celebrate completions briefly to mark salience, then move on. Build a success bank. Note, 3 moments the affirmation proved true today. Retrieval practice consolidates the identity link, making tomorrow's initiation easier and setbacks less discouraging, and easier to repeat consistently. Affirmations have limits. If anxiety, depression, or trauma symptoms are severe, simple phrases may feel hollow or spark backlash. Intrusive thoughts, catastrophic predictions, and hyper-arousal can outpace self-statements without clinical support. In these cases, evidence-based therapies, CBT, ACT, EMDR, medication when appropriate, provide structured tools for cognitive flexibility, exposure, memory reconsolidation, and physiological stabilization. Affirmations can complement that work by reinforcing values and micro-commitments between sessions, but they shouldn't replace professional care. Another caution, spiritual bypassing. Don't use positivity to avoid valid grief, boundaries, or problem-solving. Reality, check your lines against data and adjust compassionately with time and evidence. Put it together with a simple daily protocol. First, choose one value and write a believable, process-focused line that honors it. Second, anchor the line to a cue and a 2-minute action you can complete immediately. Third, regulate state. 2 slow exhales longer than inhales to nudge your nervous system toward calm receptivity. Fourth, speak the line slowly while visualizing the action and then do it, tracking completion. End by noting one piece of evidence the line was true. Repeat tomorrow, updating wording as your proof grows. Small, honest repetitions plus action make affirmations neurologically meaningful in daily practice. Affirmations aren't magic spells, but they can harness attention, emotion, and action to guide neuroplastic change. By engaging valuation and self-referential networks, buffering threat responses, and pairing words with proof, they help turn small wins into self-belief. The bottom line: credible, compassionate, and consistent statements tethered to values and tiny behaviors can nudge your brain toward approach, focus, and resilience. Used wisely, they amplify what you practice. Thanks for watching. If this breakdown reshaped how you think about affirmations, hit subscribe for more brain-savvy tools you can actually use. Drop a comment with one believable, process-focused line you'll try this week, and the tiny action you'll pair with it. Your example might inspire someone else to start.